Wow. 6 people. That's amazing. 6 people watching a freaking watching a road, watching some jerk off on a motorcycle ride down the road. It's probably covered in snow now. All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Hey, Jim, what's going on, man? Richard, what's happening? What is happening? Just finished dinner. Got my lights and all set up. Got my green screen going so you don't see how junky my freaking dojo is. It's very distracting. I always tell people, don't shoot your videos in front of your filthy closet. Put some motorcycles in the background. Maybe a little bit of a pain in the ass, but try to leave your background less distracting. You would think it would be common sense. I have to actually put effort into it, you know. I have to throw a green screen up here and put lights on both sides so I can be illuminated and not have this green thing draping all over my body. So I actually have a plan tonight. I have a lot of things I want to talk about. Mainly the book. Let's see, the book over here. The book. I've got like 4 sections left, I think. It's crazy. I've been hammering it out this week again. Just kind of getting into it. Just kind of trying to keep from being distracted. And by being distracted, that means creating images that make me laugh my ass off. It takes a lot of time. I could go back. I could do that at my leisure. The hard thing for me, the very hard thing for me is putting the ideas down and making them kind of make sense. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. See if you guys can help me. How's the audios? Everybody can hear me? Snow and wind. I bet you got a lot of it up there. I saw somebody. I'm seeing a lot of new motorcycle YouTubers out there. Kind of interesting. One of the guys I saw the other day was on a dirt bike. Well, dirt bike dual sport. Seemed like it was a small dual sport maybe. And he was riding it up in the snow. Looks like he just pushed it out on a really nice place behind his house, but it was a really nice place. It was like a ledge. Had some trees around him. Everything was kind of covered in snow except right up under the tree, but there was a beautiful lake in the background. Perfect backdrop. He's like, yeah, riding a little bit in the snow, blah blah blah. I was like, that's a perfect backdrop. Anyway, it's kind of interesting seeing all the new guys, somebody with a couple hundred videos, people I've never seen before. I enjoy seeing the new guys actually getting distributed on YouTube. Um, it may just be a trick, a ruse that YouTube is playing on all these guys. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you making videos, 2 videos a week for the rest of your life, and just chasing that little carrot. Stick that carrot out in front of you, give you about 20,000 views, and you go, wow, YouTube really likes me. We'll get you making videos for the rest of your life, sonny boy. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for 2 more people to show up, then I'm gonna start talking about the sections that I want your feedback on. And I know a lot of you guys are probably not the people that are gonna. Well, I'm trying to think. Richard's a camper, Jim's a camper, Brian's a camper. You guys are all campers. Y'all know what you're doing. I don't know that a lot of this stuff is going to be that valuable, but hopefully, even the people that have been doing a while for years, like me, I'm hoping that everybody that picks up this book goes, oh, I didn't think about that. And just, there's always something that they can find, something interesting. Either you're doing it some other way, or you didn't think about it, or, and I'm thinking there's probably, well, I mean, I've camped with a lot of you guys, so I know that there's always something that you're doing something different. I'm doing something different than you guys are, so it's kind of inevitable if you're hanging out and camping with people that eventually you're going to run into somebody that's going to go, why don't you do it like this? Why are you doing it like that? And you're like, oh, wow, I don't know. Probably because I've been doing it this way for 20 years and nobody's ever said, hey, why don't you do it like this? I was watching some bushcraft stuff last night. What was the guy? Oh, it was a guy that was talking about, it was a guy, I don't know if you guys watch bushcraft, but there's a really big channel called TA Outdoors. I've kind of been watching him on and off for a few years, but he's got a really good channel, but he's actually filming a guy for this episode. He's filming a guy, and I think it was in the whole episode. But this guy teaches a outdoor wilderness class, camp, something like that. But he was basically running this whole video and showing this guy how to properly use an axe to not only to collect firewood, but how to use the axe efficiently without damaging your axe. And I was like, wow, I mean, just watching him for a few minutes, like, man, I've been using an axe for 30, 40 years. And it's like, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that he was talking about. It's like, yeah, just small little techniques that, it's like, don't do it like this, do it like this. I've never seen that before. And I'm sure there's probably some things that I could show most people and go, don't do it like that. You're going to screw something up. But this guy was showing me stuff, somebody that's been doing it for 30, 40 years. I guess I've probably been using an axe, seriously using an axe, maybe 15, 20 years, like weeks at a time, every year, maybe 15, 20 years. Anyway, I just thought it was really interesting that we can always learn something new. What's up, Keith? You're interrupting me watching the Trashing Supply live. I don't know what Trashing Supply is. At least we are camping. If we are camping, we can use the pages from the book. I'm not even sure that I'm going to have a print version. I really don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me unless I can find some place to send it off and have it printed and let them distribute it. I have no interest in stacking up cases of books and mailing them out. I have no interest at all. It doesn't appeal to me at all. But you know, if I can find a place that can send out a something other than a digital copy, I would be open to that. But yeah, for now it's just going to be PDF. Download your PDF here. But I can't imagine that anybody's going to say, "Hey, yeah, we'll print and sell your books for you for $10." I can't see it. I cannot see it unless it's a big distribution company and they're expecting to sell millions of copies. Yeah, I would think that everybody that says, "Yeah, we'll print that thing up for you," or we'll print them up 5 at a time as the orders come in, I think those would probably be $25. But I don't know. It's going to be a small book. Who knows? YouTube notified you about that? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You should see a book called Campfire Starter Tips. Yeah, maybe that's what the last few pages at least, because I'm trying to figure out a way to have something useful in the rear of the book, and I'm not sure exactly how to do that. Like I've got the index, and I'm thinking if it's a PDF, you can easily search a PDF and say, "Hey, where's the page on XYZ?" So why do I need an index? So I'm thinking I'm probably going to get rid of the index altogether. Or maybe it's a paragraph on how to search using the PDF that you got in your hand. Thrashing Supplies, a good motorcycle channel. Yeah, it's probably got nothing but Harleys in there. Am I guessing? Am I throwing that in the right direction? If it's got nothing but Harleys in there, I'm probably not really interested. Hey, love, Wolf, those Cali communists leaving you alone up in the mountains. Yeah, Brian's pretty lucky. He stays clear of the communists out there in the eastern sections, the Sierras. Apparently, commies don't like mountains for some reason, except those folks in Colorado. But even they only go up there on the weekends. Kaylin has a friend at work that had a couple of books printed he sells on Amazon. Yeah, that's kind of what when I first started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I'm sure Amazon would probably go, yeah, we'll print your stupid books and we'll sell them for you and send you a dollar or two. And I'd be fine with that. If somebody's got to have a paper copy, I get it, man. That tactile thing, and hopefully it would be something small enough that you can put in one of your side bags or something. You could take it to camp and read it while you're at camp. But a lot of the stuff that I'm warning you about so far, is don't open the box on your tent when you get to camp. Don't pull your camping gear out of the package at camp. Don't do it, because you're gonna be really upset when you can't put it together. It's missing something, or it's got a hole in it and you didn't set it up before and you don't know how, and you're trying to set it up at dark. And yeah, this book is riddled with those warnings. Don't do it at camp. Don't do it the first time you go out. Maybe that's where we start. Here's the question. I would like to have some kind of image on every remark where I put that don't do it for the first time at camp. What is that? A skull and crossbones? What is that? Skull and crossbones, or motorcycle on fire, or something like that. What do you guys got? Y'all got something image-wise that I'm not thinking of right now. Let's pull up these topics here. Boop. Now that we've got 11 people in here, are you kidding me? Yeah, you do have a nightmare neighbor, Brian. I mean, he's never bothered me, but from what y'all have told me, I can't imagine. Yeah. So, first topic. I have finished. First topic is down here. That's where I'm putting everything. I'm going to just scroll up. I have finished the ADV budget section. It's fairly small. because there's not a lot to say about your budget. Because, and I've hesitated responding to the budget. I know I need to do it. And just watching Doodle's video the other day, and what's the other girl that did it a year ago? The shocking budgets. That's why I want to talk about it. I should have done it before now, but I'm going to make a video about riding your motorcycle, because if you think it's going to cost you $20,000 to ride for a few weeks on your motorcycle, you need to learn how to motorcycle camp. I mean, that is the most important thing that I can do for everybody is, look, man, I got it down to probably $700, $800 a month, which is about the same what I spend staying at home. I mean, I'm burning $600, $700, $800 a month right now, and I have very few bills. So, the downside of being at home and having the ability to renew supplies and service my bike is I'm going to be spending money. I'm going to be, buying tires and servicing stuff. And so I'm going to be burning more money than I would normally burn on the road, except for tires and maintenance, like general maintenance. But, I get access to good internet and, and Amazon, and I can spend money. So, but beyond that, and I think, I'm trying to remember what my budget, let me pull that picture up. I want to talk about budget real quick, because I think most people that see this are going to be shocked. They're going to go, what? I didn't know you could do it for that. I didn't know you could have an adventure for less than $10,000. But I broke it down into what I've seen other people spend and talk about, and I kind of got an idea of a little bit of an average. Man, where is all this stuff? Oh, stand by. I'm going to pull up this graphic so we have something to talk about. You guys are getting a preview of the book. Lucky you guys. Where is the... Where? Oh, okay. Yeah, I forget that I move this stuff all around all the time. Okay. Let's try another image here. Thank you for your patience. This is budget. And this is going to be... Ooh. I'm sorry, I can't really talk and function at the same time. Oh, there we go. All right. So, I'm going to see if I can reduce this a little bit in size so y'all can read it maybe. All right. Y'all let me know if y'all can't read this, and let me know what you think. I'm going to let you absorb that a little bit. The far left column is going to be what I typically spend in a 30-day period. And I was a little bit more generous, because I didn't want to go, I could spend this much money. I want to kind of get a healthy average, even though I can clamp down and eat a lot less food and spend a lot less money if I just kind of scale back. And that's usually what I do. When I start running out of money, it's like, man, I'm not ready to go back. What can I sacrifice to keep from having to go home when I run out of money? I can extend my journey a little bit more, but y'all can see the big items for me are fuel, food, campgrounds and hotels. I spend very little money on those because I typically don't stay in either. Tires and maintenance for me is going to be way more than most people, even though do all the almost all the labor all the time. Most of the time, I do all the uh, wheel removal, tire change, all that stuff. And on occasion, I'll spend $30 for somebody else to mount it. Yeah, if I'm at Cycle Gear, man, they can have it mounted almost as fast as I could take the damn thing off. So it's like, if they don't see me, I don't know if y'all knew this, but when you're traveling, Cycle Gear is a great place to get tires because they're reliable and they will mount your tires for you. They will not pull your wheels, but they're very reliable. Well, a lot of the stores are. Some of the stores, let's see, what is it? Reno. Do not count on Reno. Tires getting in Reno. There's another store. Same thing. In fact, it's a service center. They will pull everything off your wheels, mount your tires, everything for a decent price, probably better than Cycle Gear. Anyway, I've kind of pissed at Cycle Gear Reno because I've always depended on them, but it seems like lately they're getting a lot less reliable. So is any of this making any sense to y'all? And I would like some questions because that's, like I said, I've pretty much finished the budget section. I just wanted to see if there was something else, some other questions that somebody might have, or something maybe people have asked you guys have about your budgets. What do you spend? What am I expecting to spend when I'm on a trip? And that's kind of what this is all about, is that this image is actually going to spreadsheets. It's an image from the spreadsheet that's actually going in the book. So people can break it down and go, okay, I'm not an experienced moto camper and I'm not moto giant, so I'm a noob. And that's kind of what that category is. You're probably going to spend more money on food because you're probably not going to camp as much, or you're probably not going to cook at camp as much. You're probably going to spend more money on fuel because you're probably going to be riding more every day, unlike me where I'm chilling. I think I say in the book that I ride, typically I ride cross country, which is basically moving from one camp to another. I call that cross country. I move cross country a couple times a week. Usually not more than 3, because usually if I find a good spot, I'm going to stay for a couple of days, absorb the spot. If it's a shitty spot or I've got another destination, I'll either ride further every day. If there's nothing that if there's nothing shiny, I'll just keep riding. But so a noob is probably going to ride more than I do every day. I don't know, depending on how much time they've got. But a noob also is going to stay more in hotels and campgrounds. And I was kind of conservative on what they would spend. I'm thinking probably a noob is probably going to spend more than that even. But let's just say they just stay in hotels for campgrounds in 30 days. I'm kind of throwing that out there for what I'm thinking. And of course, tires and maintenance, they're probably not going to spend as much. And that's kind of where one of my big items is in my budget is I spend a lot on tires. I mean, a typical trip for me is at least 2 sets of tires. This last one was 3. So, and hell, I didn't even stay out 6 months. Yeah, but it's not atypical to go through a lot of tires, but it's atypical for everybody else. Most people can go out 6 months and they'll get back to back home with the same tires they left on. That's not true for me. I wish it was. I would love to get 10, 15,000 miles out of a tire, but I'm really happy if I can get 4,500, 5,000 miles out of my tires. But that's, like I say in the book, I just ride aggressively. That's where I get my fun. Yeah, so I don't know what kind of suggestions do you guys have as far as questions that I can answer before I publish this thing. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, or maybe some questions that other people ask you guys, I don't know. I'll give y'all a second. Let me catch up on some of these chats. Hardcore Gary update. I haven't talked to Gary in a while. I sent him a map the other day. Haven't heard back from him. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think Gary's going through something that he probably doesn't want everybody to know about. Always dump out the previous camp dirt at the new camp. Clip idea. Review these ADV 350 scooters that Honda and Yamaha is pushing. I would love to. Don't know anybody here locally that has any 350 scooters. And the last one I sat on, I was really disappointed. I think it was one of those Suzuki. It was either the 650. It was shortly after I got my first replacement leg. I sat on it and I couldn't get my leg folded up in it. And every scooter I've ever ridden has put a smile on my face. And I was like, wow, if scooter is an option for me, I think this was even back before I bought the Tenere. I was like, hell yeah, I'll ride a scooter. Especially the bigger scooters. I like the big 650s. I've ridden some 400cc scooters that are freaking amazing too, and they all handle amazing. So, yeah, I'd love to review scooters, but I don't know anybody that's going to let me ride one. But be honest, alcohol and junk food is a big budget item. Yeah, it really wasn't. Alcohol was not really a big issue this last trip. In fact, I haven't had a drink and it's been a couple of weeks now, and I don't really miss it. I can't really drink anymore. My blood pressure's always up, so it really fucks with my blood pressure. And junk food is kind of what I eat. I mean, I just had this beautiful salad that I made. So tonight I made it was a little bit better, but I am chomping on some little, what do they call these things? Fruit sours. These are delicious. And I had some pretzels early, so I'm one thing at a time, man. I can't get rid of all my vices at one time. And this, although it looks like whiskey, is it's tea. Stop by Motocross Dummies, that guy in Nevada tried to tell you. Yeah, he was warning me, wasn't he? Is that a vagabond or a nomad? That's a good trip. Good question there, Bill. What's your time frame? Can't figure that out. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Jim. 30 days. Yeah, okay, sorry. So, for some reason, when I captured the image, it was 30 days. So, in the book, it's got the explanations above it. But for some reason, when I took the image, it cut the 30-day budget off the top tab. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, it's 30 days. Something that I think everybody can understand. The lucky people will be able to get out for 30 days. But, it's also they can go, well, if I'm out for 2 weeks, then let's cut that in half. And hopefully everybody can look at this and go, okay, this is what I'm going to spend. And the guy that's looking at the pampered ADV budget, that's the guy that's staying in hotels. He's eating out every night. He's not cooking anything. And he's staying at nice hotels, and he's taking nice showers, and he's eating at fine restaurants. He's probably not eating at a lot of, drive-through fast food. He's probably not eating a lot of fast food. He's got a budget. Campgrounds. He probably doesn't stay at a lot of campgrounds. He's probably not a camper. So, I mean, there's a lot of those guys out there, and sometimes I get kind of jealous of them just to be able to ride every day and go, oh, look. There's the Hilton right around the corner. I'm going to go sit there and, order some Uber Eats, and I'm going to sit here, and while I'm waiting on my food, I'm taking a shower, and I plop down on my nice bed. I don't have to set anything up, and I can get up tomorrow at 6 a.m. because I'll be nice and fresh and just get on my bike and ride. There's a lot to be said about that, but I think most people are not in that financial category, at least most people I know. And it may be that one big trip that you make in your life where I got $20,000 in the bank. I'm going to go for 2 months and I'm going to live like a king. I did that. I did that for about a year and a half, and I blew all my money. But man, at the time I was like, I got to do this now because I don't know, I could be dead. It's always been my biggest fear. Is like I could be dead before I do the things that I've been dreaming about. So anyway, hit like. Don will never ask. Yes, hit like. Hit like if you like the video. If you like what I'm talking about so far. I got more stuff coming. More stuff that I really haven't started thinking about. Like I said, the ADV budget section is done in case you guys come up with, unless you come up with something I haven't really thought about. The questions that people ask you about your budget. But I think I've kind of got the big ideas covered. The biggest idea that I'm going to be talking about as far as budget is everybody's budget is going to be different. Everybody's got more or less income. They've got more or less income. They've got different goals. They've got different time frames. All of these things combined to go, well, doesn't matter if you have $20,000 in the bank for your big adventure. If you've only got a week and a half, man, I can't really tell you how to cut corners or be more efficient. I'm just going to tell you, if you only got a week and a half, man, just put some freaking miles on your bike. That's what I would tell you. But the folks that I'm worried about, it's like, man, I can't justify spending $5,000, $10,000 on an adventure. It's like, man, I get it. Here's some ideas of how you do it. And the biggest thing for me is the camping. Camping, no hotels, no campgrounds, camping. That's what I would tell you to do. And there's plenty. It just takes a little bit of skill. It takes a little bit of know-how. I've got a section on stealth camping. It may be the biggest written section on stealth camping. I think it's a page and a half. It's a lot of detail about stealth camping because so many people don't understand the benefits and the ability that being able to camp pretty much not anywhere, but anywhere in any county. You should be able to stealth camp in any county. So that means you may have to drive another 30 miles, but you can find some place to stealth camp. I've just done it too many times, and I'm thinking about the hardest places that I've tried. It's always around cities. I don't like cities. I don't like camping in... all the danger comes from the city. It really does. I don't know how many times I've said that, but it's terrible. It's terrible to think about that. Let me finish up these. You remember Wade that had that scooter at Helen? Yeah, I remember Wade. What's up with Wade? What's the latest? $700 is 2 weeks. I like to drink beer. I do too, Brian. I'm pimping out the van to Utah college students doing online classes. Yeah. Your guys, yeah. That drink will age you fast. It's great to practice cheap. Learning to spend more is easy. Yeah, it really is. And not just that. I've never liked being a cheap bastard. I know how to squeeze a dollar, but most of the time I don't like doing it. I like having fun. So, but I also like spending. If I got $200 to spend, why the hell would I ever spend it on a freaking room with a bed that I'm probably not going to sleep much in anyway because I don't like sleeping in strange rooms? The nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. They have never been worth $200 or more. Never. It's great to practice. Yes. 2024, I was out for 108 days. 13 grand? $91 a day, lots of campgrounds. Yeah, it's going to kill your budget. But you know that. You know that how much campgrounds cost. Yeah, maybe you're the guy I need to be talking to about getting out of the camp. Well, we've talked about it, Jim, and I know you've got a lot of concern about your rig, but most of the time nowadays, I'm very conservative about where I go. I think I mentioned that the last time we talked is I'm very conservative. I'm not doing, I'm not doing enduro riding on my bike anymore. Well, kind of. I haven't been doing that much for a while because I've been riding big street bikes up until now too. So, um, but I would say probably the biggest issue in the places that I camp are most of the time it's traction. You're coming into a turn and there's gravel and there's sand and that could be an issue pulling a trailer. Does your trailer have brakes? Campgrounds aren't cheap anymore. Figure on 20. Yeah, that's what I say in my that's how I figured out all these numbers. The guys that are doing 30 days. A campground, I can't remember what I put it at. I think I put it at $30 a day for everybody that's doing the daily thing. So everybody from more money, less budget, I think I kind of figured a mixture of campgrounds and mid-range hotels for his budget there. But still, you're looking at $3,000 to sleep. That to me is just bizarre. You can see my fee on my campground hotel budget. I can't remember the last time I stayed at a hotel. Well, I think we stayed at 3 hotels on the tap, but I'm riding with the guys. They're like, no, we're getting the hotel. And I'm like, I'll crash in the hotel on the floor. Yeah, I don't have a problem somebody else paying. I'll hang out in the hotel. I'll take a nice hot shower. We stayed at one. It was 3 of us, and they had 2 beds, and the beds were just as shitty as anything else. And it was a shitty, cheap hotel, but it was like the only hotel in this shitty little town. Anyway, I think it was like 70. It was ridiculous. It was like $70. It was a shithole. I had been in some shitholes before. This one was like at the top of the shithole list, and $70, ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I'd much rather have just. I almost did. It was so freaking hot at this hotel. I almost went and blew up my ground pad and rolled out in the grass. It would have been a whole lot nicer. But I rolled up on the floor for some reason. Suck it up. Anyway. Well, Michael from Pace. What's up, man? Long on what did I miss? You missed a lot. Mostly talking about your ADV budget. This is what's going into the book. This is a kind of a spreadsheet that I put together today as I'm making the kind of putting around a loose budget. But what I was saying earlier is budget is going to be so much different for everybody because everybody's got a different budget. Everybody's got a different budget on time. And everybody's got different goals, man. What do you want to do? If you want to go from big city to big city to big city, you're going to have a completely different goal than everything that I do. I miss a lot of things that are really cool in the cities just because I don't like spending any time in the cities. And I don't like stealthing in cities. So I have to go outside of the cities, which kind of limits the amount of time that I can spend inside the cities. But anyway. Corps of Engineer campgrounds are fantastic. I thought that was my little secret. I've been talking about the Corps parks for years. I don't want to call them cheap, but as far as government campgrounds, they're cheap. And they're always superb. And they're always in really good locations. Corps of Engineer campgrounds, if you're going to camp anywhere and pay for it, Corps of Engineers is probably going to be your best experience. They're always clean. They're always top-notch locations. I have been to a lot of Corps parks, and I've never been disappointed at them. Hell, even their old. I have been into some of their old facilities that they've closed down. They've gated them off, and I've gone in there and like, damn, this is really sad because this is still nice. It's overgrown. There's crap growing on everything, and they just decided to spend their money on building a new one instead of fixing this one. But it's still awesome. Their stuff is awesome. And, they're on rivers and lakes, and That's where you find all the core parks. And I think they've got a lot on the Gulf. I'm not sure what they have on the East Coast. You probably know more about that than I do. Seen Twisted Light Camp behind a dumpster downtown Reno next to high-rise bank. Yeah, he's more of a city guy than I am. Yeah, I'm just, if I'm camping in a city, it's because I've run out of options. I've run out of time, options, or I've got something nearby that I need to do. It's not one of the things that I do. YouTube didn't tell me, and I'm 35 minutes late to the live stream. Yeah, this is a pretty good one, Bruce. You missed out on the pretty good stuff so far. We're talking about budget now. I've got a few more items that maybe you guys can help me with. But telling everybody that the ADV budget section in the book is pretty much done. I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions that I can answer in the book or here. But basically, I'm talking about budget. Your adventure budget is going to be very personal, and it's going to be very it's going to be based on each individual's budget of time and money and goals and the things that you want to do. It's going to have more focus on anything else. But really what I wanted to show you in this little spreadsheet that I put together is the difference in the people that kind of know what they're doing and the people that have more money than time or more money than sense. And hell, I don't care. You want to spend $10,000 for 30 days on a motorcycle? Go do it. Just I can think of a few dozen more things that I could spend 10 grand on in a month. That's more than I spend traveling in a year. So, and also what I was telling people earlier is that I was trying to be generous on what I spend in a month on the road. And I would say it's probably less than that. It's probably between 700 and that total that I've got down there. Far left column is mine, and then you got what I'm thinking what a noob would probably spend just because they don't really know what they're doing. And then you've got the guy that's got a decent budget, but he's got no time, and he's going to be less inclined to stop and set up camp and cook at camp. So he's going to spend more money, even though maybe he doesn't want to. He's only got a certain amount of time. And then you get the guy that's got lots of money and lots of time and just doesn't give a crap and likes luxurious living. And he's going to camp and he's never going to camp. Unless he might go to a campground where they have cottages and hang out with his buddies that are camping and go join them at the campfire, and then he's going to go back to his cottage and turn the air conditioner on and turn the TV on. But I did admit that I'm kind of jealous sometimes of those guys that have the budget. I'd probably spend a whole lot more time in cities if I had the budget. You know, I could just roll into, like, what was it? I don't remember. LA had a couple of things the last time I was there. A couple of things. I couldn't get my bus into town, number one, because they didn't have any place to park. But even if I could, even if I found a place to park my 32-foot bus, yeah, it seemed like it was a museum. There's all kinds of stuff in LA that I'd like to see. I just don't want to have to put up with the traffic and the parking and all the things that, yeah, shit, man. The commies now, jeez. I don't remember it being that bad last time I was there, so. Yeah, Jim, next time you come to the States, man, we'll give it a good try for a day. I can go scout out some locations and just kind of show you that I mean, there's probably just a few things that you need to get a hold of, because I'm sure you're used to showers and water being very convenient. I'm not really sure what your experience is. But all that stuff's going to be in the book. Everything that's going to get people from, get people out of the hotels. And that's kind of why we're talking about budget, is just to look at the numbers and go, wow, yeah, like a normal guy with time and money is going to spend a lot of money in 30 days, and a guy with a little bit of time and a little bit of money is going to spend more than half of what the rich guy is going to spend. And then you got a regular guy. I call him the noob. That's the guy just to the right of my column. The noob is going to spend probably more money than he wants in that 30 days. But hopefully he's going to have some fun. But the thing that I keep saying, if you get your mojo, you can stay out a whole lot longer. You can stay out a whole lot longer if you just figure out how to do it. If you could do $700, think about that. Who can't do $700 a month? If you can figure out how to live on $700 a month, and I would say probably if you get past hotels and campgrounds, if you get past that, then my biggest expense is always going to be food. That's what it is now. Food is my biggest expense. So, I can spend $12, $15 a day and eat pretty well, or I could spend $50, $100 a day and eat out and eat premium food. I can get steak. I can grill steaks over a campfire. And it's going to be $30 a day. If I want something delicious to go with my steak, and that's one meal. So, but yeah, it's just if you learn the techniques, and the strategies, and kind of change the way you think about what you're doing, you can stay out a whole lot longer. If you say you got a $1,700 budget, like I'm saying a noob's budget is, he's only gonna be out for 30 days because that's all he's got. But if you can say, I can knock it down to $700 every 30 days, I can go out for 2 months. It's something to think about. Let's see what else we got here. Next topic that I haven't even started. Well, I've kind of covered this before. The group dynamic, I talked about that. I think everybody that's ridden for any length of time knows if riding is important to you, and you can't find buddies that riding is important to them too, you're going to have a hard time finding people to ride with. So if you really like riding, like most of the people that I know that ride all the time, riding a motorcycle is very important. It's not polishing your bike and taking it down and blipping your throttle downtown at the coffee shops and, doing the loop at Sturgis. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys that really like riding their motorcycle. Those guys, typically, almost everybody I know that rides anywhere close to me rides by themselves. 95% of the time, they ride by themselves because they have to ride. It's their thing. And if you're waiting on your buddy that doesn't like to do it, if you're waiting on him to ride with you, you're not gonna be riding. So, but I've talked about this a good bit. It's kind of hard to understand if you're I never made the transition. Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand if you don't ride a lot. If all you're riding is oh shit, what happened to my? I'm losing my internet. I'm losing my mind. We'll wait for the internet to come back up. If it does, it may not. Let me close this window out. Maybe this will help. Woo! Let me pull up my chat box. Yeah, the internet comes and goes. I don't know what to say. Maybe the end of the stream if I can't get internet back up. Yeah, I can't even get the chat window up. Give it a second, see if we get internet back. Catch up on chats while we're waiting on internet. Jim, you can get away with more here. I don't know. They got a lot of crown land up there. I haven't spent that much time searching in Canada for crown land, but they seem to have quite a bit of it. So, Sonora Pass. Yeah, you could get on so many of my spots this last trip, Jim. There's so many spots that I've stayed in that would be no problem for you. And probably I'm trying to think, Sonora Pass, there's a little dip, so, but once you get in, it's just getting turned around. That's about all you got to do. Yeah, I would say, I'm trying to think of the places that you would have trouble. Salida, that place outside of Salida was really rugged. It wasn't anything really technical. It's just really rugged. So I don't know if chunks of rock sticking up out of the road are a problem for you. Oh, and there's one little stretch that's kind of technical, but it's, it's this wide. It would be bad if you didn't stay on your line, but otherwise it's most of the places, 90% of the places that I camped were fine for you. No, I could do it. Yeah, you and Bill. Bill, I haven't really ridden with you, so I don't really know. Um, I mean, you ride all the time, it seems like, or at least in the summers. I know you put a lot of miles on your bike. I'm assuming that you know what the heck you're doing, but I don't know what how anybody rides off road, especially on the big bikes, man. They could be tricky in the sand and the gravel. Uh, I'm catching up on the chats here while we're waiting for the, the internet to catch back up. What's up, Eric? Out here at Midtree Lake, trying to make the money for the next move. Where are you going next, Eric? You going south? You going into Mexico? Cause it's I was watching what's his name? Dude on the Pan American. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Adam Sandoval. I didn't watch to the end of the video, but it's it looked like he was running into some trouble. Everything they said about Mexico is true. I'd never finished the video, but I don't know what's going on in Mexico. It sounds like there's a lot of people that are not really excited about being in Mexico this winter, and that's sad. I've been wanting to get down there for a while. Oh, we have lots of crown land in Newfoundland, but the access is really rough. Had good luck with forest campgrounds. Yeah, man. Most of the forest is really good. It's if you want to be um, if you want to be away, like if you want to be remote, like that's kind of my thing. I don't like being in campgrounds, even though their campgrounds are for the most part they're pretty good. But man, they've gone up. Um, I don't know how I'm going to talk about that in the book. But years ago, the Forest Service managed their own campgrounds. They weren't really well taken care of, but they have steadily started giving their management to third parties. So what you will see in the National Forest campgrounds is they will go from, man, I've stayed in some remote forest campgrounds, $6 a night. And they're nice. They've got water. Some of them have water. But they all have vault toilets. So you've got maybe a picnic table, maybe a place to grill. I mean, it's not really nice, like a real nice campground, but $6, $8 a night. And I still think they have a few of those, but they're becoming fewer and further between. Now the campgrounds that were $15, $16, $18 are like $30 a night because they've got to pay I talked to a camp host below Tioga. I hung out there several days with him, talked to him about it, and I think he's been camping there since he was a kid, camping in the area. And somebody said, well, you're retired now. Why don't you go do the hosting? So they pay him $18 an hour, 6 hours a day, to basically sit in his camp and wait on people to come. Hey, and I guess he cleans bathrooms and picks up stuff and goes around and collects money and stuff like that. But it's like that's kind of a lot of money for a campground. So you think, okay, not just the contractor is taking their cut, and then they're paying the employee on top of that. So yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense that a $15 campground has gone from 15 to 35, and that's why. Because the Forest Service doesn't like cleaning bathrooms, I guess. Or they can't find people to do it consistently. Dawn, do ever come camping in South Alabama or Florida Panhandle? So let me know. I like riding and camping. Yeah, man, I'll let everybody know once. I'm hoping to get down to Florida. I was hoping to be down there already. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've had a lot of stuff going on with my leg, and I'm resupplying and I'm reorganizing, and I'm trying to finish off this book and a bunch of videos. And it's cold. That motivates me to stay put. And it looks like Florida, to get the warmth, I'm going to have to go to Orlando or south to be in any kind of, anything different than... I kind of draw the line at 45 degrees in camping. I don't like to camp any length of time under 45. I don't like riding very far down into the 30s. But camping, I don't really care what it is during the day, but overnight, if it's much colder than like 40 degrees, it's just not my thing. So, and I'm not sure if I want to go south of Orlando. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. Most of the places in our hills are easier than my driveway. I never know where I'm going. Life throws me where I'm always. Well, that would make you a drifter or a vagabond, Eric. I don't know. We were talking about this the other night on the stream, but I don't remember if you gave me an answer. Do you consider yourself a drifter or a vagabond? Certainly not a nomad. What isn't easier than your driveway? Yeah, no shit. That's pretty... Yeah. So, as far as I know, I'm the only one that's been up Brian's driveway without crashing. But I did crash at his garage. Well, I didn't crash. I just dropped the bike on my missing leg side. Adam had an easy trip between hotels. Yeah. I'm not gonna poke fun at anybody that's out doing it. If you're out riding, good for you. If you can afford hotels, good for you. Riding with others versus solo, I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that, because I think it's just more philosophy, which kind of takes me down to some of these are some of the things that I'm struggling with, because I know that they're topics that would probably be interesting, but they're a whole lot more philosophical that I don't even know if I want to put them in the book, because they're kind of philosophical topics. So it's just going to be me spouting my philosophy. And there's a lot of my philosophy in this already. So I'm not sure if that's a deal breaker, just me spilling words onto a page that may or may not be meaningless. But I don't know if you guys have any input on these topics, but I'm going to just kind of cover them real quick. Yeah, there's a whole chapter on philosophy, or a section on philosophy. But, it also goes back to, things like budget and goals. And, I think it's one of those things that most people are not going to think about goals and time and budget until they get out there and go, wow, I really need to put some thought into it. Or they get home and they go, man, I really wished I would have done X, Y, and Z, or done this differently, or not spent so much time trying to achieve this thing when this thing is really silly and not as important as I thought it was going to be. Vagabond, it's on my fingers. Yeah. That's funny, man. I forgot about that. It's on my fingers. So, Eric, I don't know how fast you could type, but you got to give us the story, man. Where did the name Vagabond come from? Where did you first hear it, and when did you start identifying as it? I think I asked that question the other night on the stream, but I didn't get an answer from you. Or maybe I didn't get you to understand what I was asking. I don't know. So this last, damn, I keep forgetting to do the transitions. Yes, these are a few of the last sections that I want to do. The philosophy thing, I don't know. I'm just kind of wanting to throw some ideas for people to think of, or at least the things that have come up when I'm out there traveling or when I get back. Sometimes it's like I don't realize the impact this last trip had on me until I get back and go, wow, this is interesting. What I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. Look at me breaking the laws there behind me. I took some clips from me traveling from I went to Gunnison, then I went down to Lake City, and then Lake City was all on fire, so I just went back up north where it wasn't on fire. I only had a few more days, and just kind of wanted to see some beauty before I left. Anyway, here's this last topic. Maybe you guys can really help me with this. I really want to share stories. I really want to, like, I'm working on, my buddy Rusty joined me on Grand Mesa. That's what I'm working on next, the next video. And I think I've got an hour and a half of him telling stories about his trip to Alaska. And he's a world-class storyteller. And he also had some pictures. He sent me some pictures that I can put in the video. What I would really like is to get stories from everybody that I run into that camps on their motorcycle. And, I'm not sure exactly how to collect them, but I think that there's probably should be a way to embed a link to some of these stories to share the stories, because I think, I mean, when you talk about rabbit hole, that would be really cool when you could say, hey, if you really want to soak up what it's like to travel on a motorcycle, here's some really great stories. I would really love to share those stories of other people that are out there doing it, and maybe some, not just stories, but don't listen to Don, he's full of shit. This is what you really need to do. Do it my way. Or I agree with Don on everything except this. This is the way I do it. And there's going to be a lot of that. The people that I've talked to about this up to this point is I really want to get it as fine-tuned as I can before I push the first copy out there, because I know I'm going to change and add to it as I go along, because people are going to remind me, oh, wow, man, it sure would be awesome if you talked about this. You didn't talk about, or you talked about this topic, but you didn't go as far as, or I've got a question. I read your book, but in these two sections, you talk about this for a very short period of time. I would really like to know more about it. And I'm trying to just keep it as short and simple as I can, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I kind of want it to be a pocket guide, but also give everybody as much confidence as they need to get out there and do it. So in other words, it would really make me smile greatly to hear 100 people say, man, I read your book. I was just thinking about it before. I read your book, and I got out there a few weeks later and did it and had the best time of my life. And it was because of your book. That would be fantastic. That's my biggest goal, is get 100 guys to say that. Love the book. I was just thinking about it, and then I got all this confidence. I was inspired and had confidence and uh, a little bit of competence because I went and practiced those things. That's one thing. The folks that are just joining me, um, one of the things that I talked about in the beginning, I want to have some kind of an icon emoji that I can stamp on every little statement where I say, do this before you leave. Like my consistent thing that I tell everybody is set up your camping gear before you leave. Set it up in the rain. Make sure it doesn't leak. Make sure everything works. Spend a night in your gear before you go on your long trip and then figure out that it doesn't work. Because your next stop is probably going to be in the hotel. And the next stop after that is going to be at the outdoor center where you can get something to replace the stuff that you didn't, either you forgot to pack it all, or you didn't test it, or you don't know how to set it up, or something happened. Anyway, so I'm looking for that icon, and the only thing I can come up with is like skull and crossbones. So skull and crossbones on every statement where I go, do this before you leave. Test your crap before you leave, like toolkit. That's my big thing is build your own toolkit. Don't get somebody else to tell you what tools you need. A minimal toolkit to cut down on weight. That way you can carry more stuff, but always do your tires, tire repair, oil changes, do all that stuff that you do every year to your bike. Do that with your toolkit instead of the snap-on tools that you have in your garage. It's going to be more convenient to do it with snap-on, but you'll know every time you change something, every time you service something, if you're servicing with your toolkit, you'll know if you have it, number one, and how it works, number two, and you go through the procedures and you know what's missing, and you can build your toolkit before you leave. Reserve America sucks because they charge you $8 every time you reserve, and there's no more self-pay at the kiosk. I don't know what Reserve America is. Is that like a campground host? Vagabond. Nicaragua. A man called me that. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that story. That's right. Somebody called you a vagabond. I'm sorry. I got brain damage, man. I'm sorry. I remember the story now. Monument Valley in April. Have you been there? Then temps moderate. Man, I have been through Monument Valley 3 times. The last time I went, it was summer, and I would suggest that you go in April. That's how bad it was. It's miserable in the summer. So anytime other than that, are you planning on camping in the Four Corners? Because the weather is kind of shifty in April. It's really shifty. Man, it's really hard to tell, man. It's so hard to tell. You're probably not going to get a lot of rain in April, but buddy, if you do, it can be a mess. Because it's basically sand and clay, and some points it's some parts of that area it's clay and it gets nasty. So I can't tell you. I would say you're better off going any other time than summer, with the exceptions of if it's going to rain, you probably need to go somewhere. Or hell, ask the locals when you get there. I'm thinking about going out here and camping and doing something. I don't know. I've never camped in Monument Valley, and I've done very little off-road. I would like to go back, and it would probably be any other time but summer. It's freaking miserable. It's a furnace in there in the summer. So I don't know if that helps you answer the question. Just be careful of the rain in Utah and Colorado and yeah, Utah in particular. It's kind of scary when it gets really greasy. And western Colorado, same thing. It gets really greasy and scary. Like You may not even be able to walk out. It's so greasy. I have been in some really greasy spots. And it only takes a little bit of a sprinkle for like a few hours, and it gets really nasty. How long could you live on $700? Eric? Yeah, Eric, tell us. How long can you live on $700? I would really like to know your budget, Eric. I've lived in South Africa for a year and left to go there with only $400 in my pocket. South Africa, yes. I have nothing to compare with the African continent. I don't even know what things cost over there, but I imagine it's less than over here. But you know, it goes back to everything else. It's like my biggest budget items are tires, fuel, and food. I mean, what else you got? If you're self-sufficient, online reservation fee is still registered. Pace is the old name for a homeless that like living that way. Well, I've talked about most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and maybe somebody else is going to come along after the stream and has some way of telling me everything that I missed. It's got all the answers for me. But yeah, we're 45 minutes. I think this is a good place to quit here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And if you have an answer to any of these, leave a comment, or I made a post about this stream. Leave it there, because it takes a while for this thing to cycle into a live stream, and I don't leave it up. I don't typically leave the streams up for very long. I may leave this one up for a few days, but yeah, any comments would be appreciated. Any suggestions on things I should cover, any questions, I'm all ears. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out.